What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the three-time, but it's two-time for sure, award-winning Dr. Vibe Show. 2020 award winner in the Internet News category, and also 2018 winner in the Innovation category given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. And way back when, most of you probably you didn't know me at all, but I won in 2012 Best International Blog given out by the Black Web Blog Awards. So that's way back. As always, I also do once a month, I host a live conversation for fathers and dads that is co-sponsored by Dad Central, Canada's National Fatherhood Organization, and Dove Men Care. And as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And remember, this is the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm your host of Epic Conversations. You know, if you watch me even once, how excited I usually am, most of the time am, but definitely when new people, new family come on, and we got some new people tonight, and we got some veterans, some friend veterans with us tonight. But the reason we're here tonight is to talk about a company called Bwell. Let's talk about them in background. Their mission is to create a wellness space that facilitates healing and growth for individuals that are seeking realignment and commitment to themselves through the Well system, utilizing various modalities and approaches, such as storytelling, meditation, and breathwork, yoga movement, sexual exploration, and self-identification. Participants will gain liberation and self-mastery tools and skills to reach their personal goals and vision. We got 4 out of the 5 posse here tonight. So we're going to bring them on all together. We're going to get you to see them. So if we can bring all the posse on. We got them. We got them all. What's going on, family?
Hey, Dr.
Hello.
Love and light, Dr. Vibe.
Yeah, man, it's good to see you all. Now, 2 out of the 4 I know. There are 2 that I don't know yet, and you don't know. You'll get to know all of them. You may recognize L.A. Wade because she's been on the platform a few times before, and always love her to have her share with us. And a few weeks ago, she said, Dr. Vibe, and she called me up with her beautiful voice, and she said, I want to know if you could do something for me. I go, this is loaded. Because you know, yeah, well, let's put it this way, folks. LA hosts a show called Cocktails with LA, so it could be loaded. Right?
It usually is.
Right? But she told me about this new initiative. I said, hey, let's bring it on. Let's make it happen. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to get some background on each one of the people that are with us tonight. They're going to share a little bit about themselves and their background. And then we're going to find out about Bwell, how it came together, what they do, and what they're going to do. So I'm going to start with a lady that I know most, and for the longest period of time, who dropped some crazy stories about me before we went live. L.A. Wade, welcome. Share a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Let's see. I'm a storyteller, first and foremost. I finally kind of narrowed down what L.A. Wade is all about. And what I'm about is storytelling and story curating. I am able to listen to so many people share stories about themselves, and we don't realize how many clues we drop about how we think and what we believe based on the types of stories we understand. And I've kind of leverage that onto a platform called Cocktails with LA, where I get the love, sex, and dating relationship stories from people all over the world. And having gone on an adventure of speaking to over, I would say, well over 300 people in the last year.
What?
Yes, I have a lot of content. I was only able to narrow it down into 32 episodes because really, I wasn't really sure what to do with so much content. But one thing was certain, in getting all of these stories, I was able to learn so much about myself. So season 2 is going to focus much more on my personal journey and the things that I learned from all the people speaking to me. And I found a way to leverage that into a wellness company. And you'll hear more about that story after you hear from all of the wonderful people that make up this company with me.
Wonderful. Thank you for reaching out to me because I'm very interested in regards to what this is and what it's going to do.
Well,
Now,
thank you for having us.
you know, you always have a home here. You've known that for a long time. All right.
Long time.
All right. Next up, one of the people I don't know and we don't know, Rashida Ahmed. Please come to the center stage and share a little bit about yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. So again, my name is Rashida Ahmed. I am a sex educator and coach, and I work with melanated women of color to help them to unravel and to overcome sexual shame, traumatic experiences, and that could be from relationships, that could be from childhood trauma. I help them to rediscover themselves as a sexual person, a sexual being, understand their body and how it works and what functions for them, and so that they can live their most authentic self, whatever feels right for them. So that is what I do, and I hope to bring all of that expertise into our wonderful company here that will help to really liberate a lot of people who are dealing with some shame and trauma and how that's impacting their lives. And so I bring my knowledge to this well space. That is awesome.
Yes.
Well, the only thing I'm going to correct is you're going to, not you're hoping to. You're going to get the job done.
She's going to do it. This girl.
She's going to get it done. Rashida, thank you so much. Let's see. Let me go to the guy in the car. Come on, car man.
Carman. Yeah, that's me. No. Hello, everyone. My formal name actually is Marquise Payne. I was born and raised in Newark, New Jersey. So I'm actually from America, the inner city. I go by the handle 90s Guru on Instagram. I'm a self-published author, poet, and mindset mentor. And my story is a little bit, I like to say, unconventional, but, I kind of got led to this space through making a lot of mistakes, and those mistakes just led me into, various situations and like jail. And in those spaces, I learned how to meditate. And so through meditation and, just trying to keep a positive attitude in such a rough spot in my life, I actually learned a lot. And I actually started to read books and study hard. And so I bring to this space the different keys to mindfulness, meditation, and, how to keep a positive mind through struggle.
Excellent. What's the last book you read?
The last book I've read is actually New Earth by Eckhart Tolle.
Yes. Okay. Well, you sound like you're a deep reader. So you know what? Actually, I'm going to wait till Mike Truth finishes. I'm going to recommend a book for both of you black men. So I'm going to just have it on hold for a second. Thank you so much for sharing. Mike Truth, talk to me.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? Yes, my name is Mike Truth, and that is, it is my real name translated into English. So my name is Michael Ampah, and in Tree, when you want to say something is true, you say Ampah. So Mike Truth, and I'm a multidisciplinary artist, and also I'm a multilinguist. I'm born in Ghana. I'm very passionate about my community, and I'm an event curator, and I also host many platforms. One of them, which is called Beyond the 5 Minutes. And Beyond the 5 Minutes is a platform that caters to sharing the perspective of different melanated brothers, because oftentimes in conversation, it has been expressed that usually a brother, as a man, you have 5 minutes to realize what is going on with you, assess it, and then move on. Anything beyond that, you're taking space, you're taking time. So on my platform, that we go beyond the 5 minutes. But now, with the Bwell, we have incorporated together, and I help bring different, like the male perspective along with Marquise, bring the masculine perspective and energy to the space as well.
Wonderful. You know what? I'm going to forget, so I'm going to put up right now for the two brothers here and any other brothers, pick up this book if you can find it. Can't get it. The light's messing it up right here. Black Men, Obsolete, Single and Dangerous, The African American Family in Transition. This book changed my life, not only as a black man, but a black individual. And actually, I'd recommend it to any black person. And I've had this book for 30 years.
Wow.
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 And it is still relevant today. So if you can't find it, I can direct you on where you can find it. So I wanted to put that out for Guru and Mike Truth, because I know they're serious brothers, deep thinkers, and wanting the best for Black men and Black families. So I wanted to share that out right then. Okay, how did this happen? Because you got one brother in a car in the U.S. You got three people in Canada. How the heck did this happen? Did you eventually pull them out of the car or something? What's going on?
Listen, when God has to get it done, God gets it done.
Receive. So how did it start? How did it done?
Well, so I was, as you know, I do cocktails with LA, and my Instagram started to kind of heat up with perspectives when I started doing IG lives. I had never done IG lives before, and it kind of opened up my audience to see more of me beyond what I show on the show. So I think people were like, oh, like I'm two different people almost. Like there's this whole other person with many opinions and perspectives, and she's way deeper than I thought she was. And that kind of stuff got revealed from doing my IG lives. And one of the followers of my show or my Instagram messaged me because I wrote in my bio on IG that my brand promotes healing. And he reached out to me to say that he's looking for healing for himself and his wife, and would I be able to help him? And of course, I'm not a counselor, but I've worked for the University of Toronto for over 11 years, and I've worked in the capacity of coach there for so long with students, adult students, not children, and adults who have a diverse background. So I just felt like, although I didn't have a coaching or counseling business at the time, I wanted to provide support to a Black man who was reaching out for that support. I didn't want to leave him without the resources. And I knew that myself, and I chose Marquise to join me based on the story of the person.
Okay, hold on now. So how did you know about Marquise?
Honestly, again, God. So the algorithms, the God algorithms.
Okay.
Connected us through, I don't know what, from whatever way, but whatever he was promoting at the time, which I believe was his book, The Anti-Anxiety Files, the way that he was promoting it, what the book was about, and the consistency on his page made me want to reach out to him to have a in-depth conversation about, possibly doing an IG live together, because a lot of what he spoke about was very complementary to the things I wanted to talk about. And so we engaged in a conversation about doing the IG live, realized that we have so much in common, and we were getting good feedback from people when we would do the IG live. A lot of people were very receptive to our banter, to the way that we held space for our ideas. And that just kept, once that started, it just kept growing and proliferating. And then we started thinking about doing workshops together, and it was just building naturally, organically. We were already kind of talking about things in the background, and then that happened. So I just said, hey, do you want to come on this call and talk to me with a couple? Because I think having a male and female perspective would be interesting in a coaching dynamic where a lot of times one party doesn't feel heard. We don't know them, they don't know us. And so there was a freedom there that allowed us to provide real feedback without being swayed from any things that was confining us. So we ourselves felt liberated in providing the service. And then the clients then started to feel liberated in us working with them. So it was a win-win.
Marquise, when this wonderful lady reached out to you for the first time, what was your reaction?
Yes, instantly it was alignment. It was divine alignment.
Hold a second. I love the word instantly. I love you really appealed to her instantly. I love that. Go on.
It was on Instagram, and it was instantly.
There you go.
Yes, and so I was promoting a book, and she was hip to what was going on, and so she reached out and she was like, I would love to talk about it. So we did, and from this conversation, so many different people had engaged, with us, and from there, the tribe, we just kind of got together, and kind of shared in different spaces. And so the vision, in its irony, came together upon divine alignment, and we started to facilitate growth and alignment for others.
Okay.
And so I'm excited to continue to help other people align.
Wonderful. So LA,
Yeah.
you had one person on board. Who was the next person you brought on board?
So it's funny because everybody involved in the coaching capacity came through my IG lives.
Wow.
So I met Marquise sometime in June, I think it was. And then Rashida, I think only in, I don't know, August or September or something like that. And so when we did our IG live, it was one of the last ones I did prior to the one this past Saturday. And can I just tell you, if we rewind the tape, it literally says, I say to her, we're going to go into business together and you're going to be working with me. And I know it's going to be amazing. And we're going to make so much money that we don't know what to do with it. And so I knew very instinctively that Rashida was the perfect person to bring to, one, go into business with regardless, but two, specifically with her skill set in sex education. And me knowing how I am, I knew that I was going to be able to even stretch her in her capacities. I feel like I'm like the mentor of the group, even though I learned so much from everybody else. I'm the oldest one. And I learned so much from them, and they hold me down so much. So I feel so blessed and honored to be with all of them. And if you're going to talk to me about Mike Truth, well, that's going to be an intro.
No, that's a whole episode in itself. So I'm gonna take the easy path. So
No, it's not hard at all. It's not hard at all.
All right. So I want to bring Rashida and Mike Truth into the conversation. When LA approached you about this vision, what was your response?
My response initially was like, this is a great idea, but I don't know how we're going to make this work. If I'm being transparent, because it was like, there's a bunch of people. How are we gonna meld all of our expertise, all of our knowledge together to make something wonderful? But I trusted her, and honestly, I trusted God, and I just said, you know what? Maybe this is coming into my life for a reason. This is, like you said, to stretch me. Definitely, this has been an area of stretching and growth. And as we continue to work together, as I get to know each of the members in our collective, it's just been showing me more and more why this needed to happen, why this is necessary for our community, why, this is necessary for my own personal growth, for the growth of those in the group as well. So that was my initial response. It was like, what are we doing, lady?
My Truth?
So for me, the minute LA said, let's go, I was like, I'm on board. Let's go, because like I trust LA and her vision because of like what I know from LA prior to. So it was a no-brainer for me. She asked, and I was like, absolutely, because I've seen the work that she does and like with her students, and also like it was absolutely a no-brainer at all. Like, yes, I am here to serve my community, and it's a grand idea. It's a brilliant idea, because there's so much healing that's needed from people that share, it's like this path that, like us as melanated people, that the experts that are in the current field, they don't really reflect our experiences. So the minute LA started talking about it, I'm like, I'm sold. Absolutely, let's go. Let's make this happen.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
One of the many things I like about this initiative already is it's Black men and Black women working together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I want each one of you to give your takes on how it is making you feel to be involved in a positive initiative that involves Black men and Black women working together. Whoever wants to jump in first.
Man, it's something that is wonderful. It's like something that it makes me feel right at home, because our healing, we are taking our healing as a community into our hands. We're not leaving it up to nobody else to come and figure some things out for us. And the beautiful part about it is that each and every one of us, we have walked this journey. It's not, it's not something that we're just, theorizing about. We have walked the journey that we embody. And for us to come together and in a session in our discovery calls, which we'll talk about later on, you see the power of it, like the group dynamics, how we go about doing, what we do with our clients, it's so powerful for them to see, like, whether us complementing each other in the way that we do, where we're not tearing each other up, where we're building each other, and we're also imparting knowledge and wisdom, where we're all exchanging this beautiful energy. So it's been inspiring for me, like, personally.
Thank you, Mike. Who'd like to go next?
I can go. For me, working with a wonderful group of Black people, men and women, has really showed me the power of the Black family, the family unit, and just seeing how, if it is empowered, if it is strong, if we are working cohesively, that we can do such wonderful things. So it kind of shows me what the greater world could look like if we just kind of adopt these sort of principles. And we're learning it now within this small group, and then we can impart that later on. So that's what I get the most from working within this organization, is just how powerful, how much of a family we've become, and how much that's needed for myself and for other people, I'm sure.
Good. Who's up next?
I'll go. Marquise, you can speak last if you want and summarize it all. He's really great at summary. No, seriously, very, very good at summary. And he leads us often in prayer. I think that's the other thing that really binds us together in what we're doing, is our deep spiritual belief system and the way that we really promote relationship over religion in what we do. Is a big part of it. And oddly enough, within the melanated community, relationship is really hard for us because we lack a lot of trust in our community. And that trust also stems from our trust of ourselves, our trust issues with our creator, and our trust with the community, and our trust with process. So that's not a new concept. It's something that Iyanla Vanzant writes about, that I've really taken in as a means to understanding that it's one thing for her to have written about it. How can we put it into practice to help people that look like me grow, so that we can really expand our imaginations? I just really feel like melanated people do not imagine a new world enough, and storytelling gives me the opportunity to help paint that picture with and for them.
All right. Okay, summarizer, you're up.
No pressure.
And constantly taking in information from the wellness space, it really has been inspiring to get on the other side of the coin, especially with a team of people who look like us. And the reason I say that is because when I was reading and studying, all this self-help and wellness material, a lot of it came from your Jim Rohns, and a lot of it came from your Bob Proctors. And so I knew for myself as a melanated man that it was hard to relate to. And it was hard to, really see the workings of these keys in my community. So now to be on the other side of that coin, teaching and facilitating keys to success, to relationships, to healing in our community, it has been powerful. And one of my favorite parts about it is all of our unconventional approaches and how we don't per se fit the mold. You know what I mean? I think that it allows us to attract unique audiences. I feel that it allows us to, reach more in a genuine way. And people want to connect with more genuineness today, especially with social media and mainstream success and everything happening so fast and being so temporary. I definitely feel like what we're building is, firm in faith and firm in realness and raw truth and realness.
All right. There we go. The summarizer's in full effect. I'm telling you. Let me ask you folks, and there's Stacy Stayfred, such powerful visionaries. Very nice. Very nice. What does Bwell do? Like, if I come to Bwell's digital doorstep, what are you gonna ask me? How does the process start?
You want me to go, guys? Well, I'm the discovery person. So
okay.
When you come to the well, we will send you a personality and numerology test that was spearheaded by 90s guru Marquise. And what it does is, we don't want people to get caught up in what their numbers or what what these things align, but it does point into a direction that is unavoidable. And usually what we do is when we're going through the discovery process, which is essentially just storytelling, people are having their own private cocktail with LA. That's how it seems. Like I do engaging conversation, and I ask really deep questions, and people start to open up, and we have a conversation, and right away we can start to hear the patterns in the story that are leading to a particular manifestation in their life. And if they are wanting to change that manifestation, it all begins with the way that they think about it. And then what's beautiful about all of the elements of the people is their aspects of what they focus on starts to facilitate through how people realize things about themselves, like through the mindset and the meditation, what the numerology and the personality test point towards. They can identify with which parts of that is really true for them and the ways in which that could be preventing them from manifesting the dreams that they've always set out for themselves, but haven't been able to accomplish. And, with Mike's ideals and the way that he does the things that he does, the overarching theme is to guide people from where they are to a place of liberation. And depending on what the issue is, when we talk about sexual exploration, like with what Rashida does, people highly undervalue the power of sexual chemistry with not only other people, but with themselves. They don't understand how much communication and relational wellness plays into those things and to other areas of their life in being successful. And all these different elements have come together in a very powerful way. So the discovery call just helps us gently peel back the layers towards understanding what's keeping you stuck in your life. And are you willing to do the work through our system that will help you get on the other side, much like many of us have done. We ourselves are doing the work. And that's why we know what are the plot twists and turns that might show up that will impact somebody else's life and being able to fulfill what it is that they're looking for.
And you're on point, LA. You're on point.
Thank
On point. So let me get some clarity here. Does each one of the members of the team have an area of specialty, or how does it, I see everyone here now, not everyone does the same thing. So what are the expertise or the areas that each person addresses?
So yes, actually we all have our different flavors that we bring to the pot, if you will. And the ultimate goal that we help people attain is liberation. So Rashida is the hers to empowerment.
So just let me, my troop, talk about the importance of Black and liberation. I think it's a very important point that I think sometimes we stray away from.
Mm-hmm. It's pivotal to our existence, liberation, because the narrative in our in history usually has been, the struggle, then to Ela's point, the storytelling. We have been chained to the story of how we are meant to be. So you often see the narrative, a lot of brothers growing into fitting the mold of what society has shown them, and being liberated. It's something that it starts in the mind, soul, and then it translates to the spirit. And within your spirit, once you know your identity as an individual, everything, all the rivers of life flows from there. So what we do, so my area is that I help people, so primarily brothers, but also sisters as well. I help people identify themselves as to who they are, the identity about themselves, and then we start to really understand why we trace back and find what occurred. So what sequence of events happened in their life to create certain patterns, and then in finding that out, we're able to then remove certain blocks, and then therefore allowing liberation in different areas of a person's life. And then overall, next thing you know, you're a new individual, and you start to see the world differently, and you start to retell your story differently as well, to kind of go with LA's point as well.
But another big part of it also, Dr. Vibe, is the idea that a part of our system is in paying it forward. So, and that is true on a very small micro scale within the actual conversation. But then ultimately, it's how it's supposed to extend outwards to impact the family that you have, the community that you live in, and ultimately the world that we want to see that we have. You know, the whole idea about being the change, even though I don't want to get controversial around Gandhi, I'm just saying that if you can be the change, there's a lot more ripple effect that can occur. I think Marquise used to harp on the idea of, not harp on it to say it's bad, but he would mention a lot the butterfly effect of, in our conversations about, you know, one person's action and how that can extend to something else. And by liberating one individual, we are essentially liberating everyone, because that's the effect that will happen, especially when we change the narrative.
Okay. I haven't heard from Rashida for a bit, so I'm going to have her lead off on this conversation piece. I'm gonna say 3 words, and I'm gonna let you continue. Blacks and trauma.
Blacks and trauma can be healed, can be overcome, is not our definition. It's just a part of our story.
So I'll add on. I'm gonna continue with you for a little bit, and the other people can jump in. How much has 2020 had an impact on trauma with many Blacks?
And it has had a significant impact on many Blacks, many people in general. But I do believe that it's really up to our perspective. The events in the world have happened to all of us collectively, but it's really how you choose to look at it. It's how you choose to see things. It's the lens in which you choose to walk in the world. I think really defines how trauma affects you, because, you know, negative things could happen to anyone, but I do believe that it is up to us to sort of change the perspective and change the narrative of how it affects you personally.
Okay. So I'm going to I'll get Marquise to jump in. I'll have everyone talk about this. Blacks, trauma, the year 2020. Marquise, go.
You know, I grew up around a life of trauma, you know, dysfunction in the Black family, and on those lessons that, you know, led us astray, like, you know, getting whooped is okay. And a lot of this trauma has just been passed down through the history. And what I've noticed is awareness is key, because a lot of the trauma in our communities, we're just unaware of how it affects our success, or how it affects the way we connect with our children and the way we connect with our family. And so, you know, 2020 has definitely been a year that has raised awareness on how much we're plagued by trauma as a world, as a nation. It has brought light to trauma. And I feel like we're right on the brink of a catalyst for change, because I feel like 2020 has been the year where people have expressed being fed up with trauma, being fed up with being oppressed, and being fed up with, you know, life being unfair, or even governments being unfair. And so I'm excited for the team and what we're doing at this time in history, to continue to, you know, help individuals, help families become more self-sufficient, master themselves, and continue to liberate from trauma.
Nice. Who else want to chat about that?
Well, I would like to say that trauma is not something, like, once you're traumatized, you have it, right? It's kind of like my addiction. It's always there, but it doesn't mean that you always have to operate in it, right? And so, but the problem I feel is that a lot of us don't know how to operate in it, because when we're feeling it, much of it is usually tied to shame and guilt and anger. And so it's very difficult. And then also habitual, you know, addictions, proclivities that it's tied to. And so with the piece about meditating and mindset, and even creative realms, a lot of creativity is built into what we're doing. We use a digital vision boarding system where people are able to, you know, play in the area of their imagination to start to understand themselves from a different place. And that includes their trauma. So it's kind of like, if trauma is that roommate that you have that sometimes bothers you, or sometimes it's just there and you just try to ignore them, then, you know, but there's sometimes where you can speak to your trauma and come to an understanding so that you can kind of coexist without, you know, without dishonoring yourself. I think it was Mike who was talking to me as I started to transition through my traumas. Having really great people around you has always been my call to resiliency in my life. And so that's another reason for building the team together, is together we can do so much more and go so much further because we have each other to rely on, and we're more likely to be resilient as a collective than as a singular person. So that idea of the group mentality, especially within people who look like us, who may feel broken, we're here to remind them that they are whole and complete regardless of what they do, no matter who they love, no matter any of the things that other people may have opinions about that have nothing to do with their business. Kind of provide a space that allows people to show up as they are, where they are, and just the desire to want something different will hold you accountable to taking each step towards that difference. And so that as you go through the process, we can't eliminate that. You're going to feel the traumas, but how much more security you feel going through trauma when you know you have a family riding for you that can help you through it, and you have a safety net that will allow you to swing from one piece to the next. And even if you fall, we're right there to catch you. So you will only go so far.
Wonderful. Anyone want to add on before I go on to another conversation point?
No, absolutely. Everybody are spot on. Trauma is definitely a catalyst for change and for growth. Just like the butterfly, like the caterpillar goes through a lot of traumatic transformations to become the butterfly. So like that's definitely what trauma it is. To kind of sum up what everybody's saying, it's definitely a catalyst for growth. And 2020 has been a catalyst for growth for our community as well. We're seeing a lot more awareness when it comes to our businesses. And we've seen a lot of impactful changes, like globally. So yeah, trauma is a catalyst for change and growth.
Thank you, Mike. I've been listening through the conversation. Another area that comes up is our relationships with ourselves.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a very, very important thing. And I looked at all the areas that your initiative is focusing on. I also want to have each one of you give your takes on what are our relationships with ourselves? How important are they? And where do you see some gaps with some Black individuals with their own relationship with themselves? Who'd like to jump in first? Yes, Rashida, go for it.
Because that's a big one for me.
Well, that's why I had a feeling you'd come in first. I just wanted to lay the foundation so you just slide in easy. Good.
No problem. I like it.
Go for it.
Well, definitely the relationship that you have with yourself is the absolute foundation for every other relationship that you have in your life. And I think, unfortunately, for the Black community, sometimes we don't really put as much priority or as much as importance on our self relationship, and that the love that we need to cultivate for ourselves. And sometimes, unfortunately, the lack of love or the lack of a strong relationship for yourself manifests in various ways through, toxic or, abusive situations, not taking care of yourself physically or mentally, staying in situations that are no longer conducive to your growth or aligned to your values. Those are ways in which we don't really show a very strong relationship for ourselves. And I think with this, our collective, what we really do is try to highlight what are those areas in your life that you are not necessarily having the strongest relationship with yourself? How can we strengthen that? How can we help you to mend some of those gaps, as you were saying, that maybe kind of keeping you stagnant, keeping you from really fulfilling yourself to the best of your ability? But definitely, the biggest piece is really having that strong relationship for yourself. And that really goes into your spirit and your connection with, whatever higher power that you choose to believe in. Because when you understand your intuition and understanding that spirit and how it guides you, that allows you to show up in the world in a more authentic way.
Mm-hmm.
Well done. Who wants to jump in next?
Yes, I wanted to take it from there specifically because of what Rashida said about our relationship with God as a Black community. We come from a place of normally survival and sacrifice as Black people. That's normally the place we operate. How do we survive? And then, as parents, it's about sacrifice. Everything is giving up ourselves for the family behind us, or the family that doesn't have, or you know what I mean? And so when we operate from survival and sacrifice, we do tend to lose sight of the value of ourself. And for me personally, I return to that through my relationship with God and spirituality, and I understand its power. And so, you know, I say fearlessly that being a part of our program, you know, we do embrace, you know, spirituality, as LA was saying, and that is one of our most powerful components. The way we stay grounded in approaches, we teach those keys to the kingdom.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Okay.
those are very great points by Rashida and Marquise. The self, I mean, so liberation, self-love is the key to liberation. Now, the issue has always been is that a lot of people in our community don't know the self enough to even love it. And so that is, you know, what with our program, you know, we really, really focus on strengthening, like, so becoming aware of the self, strengthening, you know, the story that you have about yourself, and then like empowering through, like, you know, like things like Rashida, then meditating really through what Marquise does to really empower the knowledge of the self, so you could love who you are, and from there on everything kind of ripples and, you know, like and flows from there. Yeah.
Okay, Marquise, I think we've got you back. Let's give you another try.
How do I sound now?
I think you're still, yeah, you're still. No, the tech isn't there. So
Pass it on.
okay, so LA, you're replacing Marquise on this one. You're the closer on this one. So we need to take you off mute.
Yes,
Okay.
take me off mute. Take me off mute. But so the question specifically you want the answer to is
The whole area of many blacks and having to not knowing themselves.
well, I'm like a poster child, right? I'm the poster child for not knowing myself. And there's a big assumptions that as people get older, they should know better. But if you're not paying attention or you're not in awareness, who cares how old you are? You're never going to know. So not that you're never going to know, you'll know when you pay attention to it, right? The self and the idea of discovery of self is one of the biggest things that happen in the discovery session, actually, is that you really get an understanding when you have those aha moments. Mm-hmm. So the way that I like to ask questions is it forces you into a place of reflection. And I like when I hear, I never really thought about that before, or, you know what, you made me think about something that I never thought about before. Then I know that I'm tapping into a part of themselves that they weren't really aware of. And that's a lot of people. A lot of people are not aware of who they are, where they are, why they do the things that they do. They just experience life and they feel like they don't have control over it. So obviously there's things in our life that we don't have control over, but we always have influence, as the Stephen Covey 7 Habits of Highly Effective People references, is that you have a circle of influence as well as there being a circle of control. And so that all comes from self-agency, self-perseverance, self-preservation. These are ideas of boundaries and knowledge of self and tapping into your creativity to find out more about who you are and what is your calling, what is your purpose, what is it that gives you the peace on earth that surpasses all understanding. And it's a discovery of what that is. And if you're somebody who's 50 and just beginning that journey, it will look one way versus somebody who's 25. And we have the range of those people going through this experience with us and really just coming into some fundamental understandings. People are older and understanding how trauma has operated in their life up until this point, and finally being able to break the cycle of that in their life so that the second half doesn't have to be like the first half. And as I said, I am the poster child for this. And I kind of throw myself out there so that people can learn. And the more people that are more empathetic and more understanding, the better my experience in life will be. Because I want my children to grow up in a community of self-aware people people that understand the importance of our dollar, the importance of being kind, the importance of trusting one another, the importance of knowing who they are as people, as individual people that have their own set of agency and their own creativity that they can add to the world. That is liberation. And it starts with us, and we want to just butterfly effect that out to the world.
The butterfly again comes up. All right, the butterfly.
Transformation. Well, this is a really great time to show you that our logo, the Sankofa, is the double Sankofa. And, that whole idea, maybe Mike, you want to throw to that whole thing?
Yes, absolutely. So Sankofa in Tree, which is in the Akan language in Ghana, it means go back and go back and get it, go fetch, go back and fetch. And what that idea is, you have to go back and look into like your past in order to know like where you're going, so that where you're coming from, in order to know where you're going. And that kind of goes into the conversation about sequences and patterns. That oftentimes before something occurs, there's a sequence of events that have occurred that has created a pattern for it to basically to be there. So that itself, our logo, it embodies us basically like resetting a person's path and kind of helping you see what happened, bringing you into the awareness of this occurred. I didn't think about it this way. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Johari window, the known knowns, the known unknowns, the unknown unknowns, and the unknown unknown. It was famously quoted by Donald Rumsfeld way back in 2004. But it's a window of that brings a person into your awareness, like what it is that you know, and then what something that you may know that others may not know. That's it's like that's something that's private. It's a facade to you, and then the unknown known is things that people may see that you do not see, your blind spot, and then the unknown unknown is things that nobody even knows about. But that is basically like our methodology. It really taps into that when we talk about awareness and bringing folks into being aware as to the journey.
You're all not very nice because you're dropping some serious knowledge bombs that I'd really like to expand on here, but time's running down, so you're getting away this time. But I'm already asking for a part 2, so it's already out there. I want each one of you to tell me something that you've experienced in a positive light through this Be Well journey so far. What's a aha moment that you've had? Because LA talked about clients having aha moments, but what's an aha moment that you've had so far? Who wants to go first? Rashida, I'm coming to you.
I had a feeling. I had my hat over the mute button. I was ready. Something that I have learned positively about myself is that as much as I told myself that I am a team player and I work well in groups, it was an area that I needed to actually grow in. And this is something that has shown me that I have to allow myself to, one, receive help and give help. I'm very much a person I can do it all by myself. Whereas this collective has really allowed me to grow and heal in that area, for me to come into awareness that this is something that I need to work on. This is something that I need to strengthen. And I know that's why I know it's one of the reasons, because that's not the only, but one of the reasons why this collective has come into my life is because that is an area that I need to tap into. And so here it is. I get practice every single day.
Good stuff. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next before see if my connection is strong.
You're much better this time. Good stuff. Make it happen.
Yes, let's make it happen before it goes out. One of the biggest things for me has been the raising of the awareness of the law of attraction, or just how we magnetize people and opportunities based off of who we are or where we are in life, mindset at the moment. And I say that because it's gotten to the point where even certain clients that we coach look like mirror images of myself and the traumas that I've had to encounter and grow through. So that's been a very pivotal aha moment for me. kind of just seeing the people who gravitate to receive coaching reflected the areas of myself that I've had to either get over in the past or continue to master.
Well said. Who's up next?
Ladies.
Go ahead, Mike Truth.
So my aha moment, it has been a bit of both, actually. Just to kind of what Rashida and Marquise are saying. So the power of working together has been something where it's been really, really amazing to see how we've all come together and how we can come together, because like usually I want, I want the help. I need the help, but it's not easy for me to just like, okay, this person's going to handle this and whatnot. But being part of this collective, it has really shown me the power of teamwork and how I could tap into different individuals, and I know that I could trust, like the help that they're gonna bring. So the trust aspect, and also just working with two amazing women as well. It allows me to also look into the really, like my own personal relationship, like with my girlfriend, to basically look and see where it is that maybe I may probably like I have to check myself and be in certain awarenesses, because like they bring so much insight and knowledge that it makes me it makes me kind of like step back and like, oh wow, yes, I didn't see it from this perspective. So that's my aha moments.
LA.
Man, awareness is all this has been for me. I've been fearless since I was 5. And it was imposed upon me to be that way. But it just showed me since very young how my creator has never left me. And so I may have done a lot of messed up stuff in my life and may not have understood myself completely and, damaged so many parts of my life. But that is the one thing that has been constant. And it's the one thing that has given me grace to constantly reinvent myself and to recognize the world around me. And how when I operate from the perspective of my creator, I literally can manifest the things God promises me. And taking accountability. Forgiveness has been the greatest gift to me in being able to see past myself towards purpose, God's purpose in my life. And I'm so grateful and humbled by that because it shows my own growth. So the thing that I love about it the most is seeing how I am able to do the very things that I'm asking of my clients, but recognizing that we all have different experiences, as my team so gently, and I'm sure afraid like hell to tell me that I can be pushy, right? I can be something.
No.
Yes, I know, it's shocking.
What? What?
But I'm always pushing because I'm a midwife. And so midwives have to help people give birth. And sometimes when somebody's in a room with you helping you give birth, you want to punch a person. They are not always like, oh, look at this woman here helping me become more spiritually enlightened. No, it's usually like, I don't want to do that. Or you know what, LA, I don't like you like this. And that's what love looks like to me. Is that people are highly resistant to my love. And it's such an irony for me because it's exactly what I want and exactly what I push away by being loving.
Wow.
But it's
it's
the state of where we are as people. And so when I see people who I can push and still receive love from, they can stay around me. I will do whatever is necessary to have those people around me because it's rare. And I need that around me because I'm somebody who will push always. I'm born to push. And so whoever doesn't like it, I could chat some Caribbean stuff, but I won't.
Well,
You know?
yeah. Or you could be like Paula Abdul's album many years ago, Shut Up and Dance, right?
Shut up and dance, right? Or as a really great sermon online, you should check it out. Holly Furtick. It's Shut Up and Shine, and it's based on and how, you know, you can say the things that you need to say, but sometimes you need to be quiet.
Yes.
In order for things to just manifest and happen.
Yes.
In my silencing, in key areas of my life, the Bwell Company has survived and is breaking new ground, and I'm very
will thrive.
For that.
They're surviving and thriving.
We are thriving, and as soon as we do more things like this, we will continue to thrive. In fact, Dr. Vibe, you will be an integral part of our growth when Mike and Marquise launch their Boys to Men program, because I believe that men here will definitely want to hear about this initiative, and I know you're going to want to interview because of our conversation we had about women who raise boys who need mentorship, and how that relationship can be facilitated and the power that it can have in the lives of everyone involved.
So audience, you know I'm not going to say no to LA. So just realize that, all right?
As long as you understand.
It's all good. I'm here to serve, and LA knows that.
Amen.
Because I know that everyone on the screen has doing it for the right reason and doing it with the right intent. And I say that right intent.
Definitely.
So before we let you all go, or before we finish up here, I would like each one of you to give a message to Black people. Rashida, I'm going to let you off easy on this one because you usually go first. So I'm going to reverse engineer, and I'm going to go to the car man first.
Sounds good. My message to Black people is, you know, the same message I give to myself. Regardless of how cool it is, keep God first. Keep God first, then yourself and your family. God first, yourself and your family. Seek knowledge, remain free, and believe in yourself. And anything you put your mind to, you can achieve. Just master your mind first.
I love how you said the same message you give to yourself, you want to give to others. I think that's very key. I'll add that a very famous lady, I won't drop her name here, said many years ago, I remember her saying, where the mind goes, the person follows.
Yes.
So I will just leave it at that. Next up, we'll let the next gentleman go on. We'll let the ladies to last. So Mike Truth, what's your message to us, Black people?
Man, know that you are powerful. You are made by the Most High, and this world is big, and so are you, and you deserve every single inch of this world. This world is yours. Make it hot, like what you want to make it. Like there's no barriers that can hold you back. Like keep liberating your mind, and nothing but success.
Nice. The lady with the smile, you're up next.
We both have smiles.
Well, yeah, but there's one lady that beams it. Like she's just been smiling all night. She know who she is.
My message to Black people is that you are loved, and that is it. You are loved, and you to stand in that love, and to definitely prioritize luxury and prioritize rest, because we are deserving of it. So that would be my message to Black folks, because that's what I tell myself. So there we go.
Wonderful. LA, you're closing us out.
I don't know. It's too much pressure.
I can't wait, girl. You're good. You're good.
It's such an important question that you're posing, and
well, that's why we're doing a part 2. So you can just do it. You can do your appetizer. Next time you all come back and we do the main course.
My message to Black people is to not be afraid of the process of growth, to learn what boundaries are. We need to work on our boundaries. And, take a look at 1 Corinthians 13. Love is patient, love is kind, and really just kind of meditate on what that looks like within our community and our interactions with the world. But let's start with ourselves, and then our families and our communities, and And then that way, again, it's like spreading that message of love and relational wellness. We need to learn how to hold space for each other. And it starts with the space that you give to yourself through the meditation. It's how we talk about ourselves. Our story may have included trauma. It may have included slavery, but that is not the story of who you are. That's a story of what has happened to you. But underneath what happens to you is who you are. And that's the place that we want to explore with you.
And I'll just add to that, where you are now is not where you are going. So I'll leave it at that. LA, I want you to, as we close out here, what's next for Bwell? And I'll get my producer to put up your Instagram information and your email address. So LA, if you can close out, and if the producer can put up the Gmail address and also the Instagram information, let's make it happen.
Okay, well, the first thing that you can do is book a discovery call with me. I'm available Monday to Friday, most hours. So just you can contact me through my Instagram, direct message me, or through the bwellco@gmail.com to email us to book an appointment. We are just starting. This is a journey that we are just starting. We'll be doing some IG lives throughout December. So the first one up is myself and Rashida. We're going to resurrect that fun, sexy talk that I love to have. And I'll make sure that I have my weed so that I can, get into my exploration. Us here in Canada, we love to smoke our weed, or some of us. I do. And we have so many blessings to you, Stacy, and to Yvette, who's been commenting and leaving really great messages of encouragement to us. The people who support us in our lives are also a big part of what the Bwell Company is. So shout out to those women who hold down the men in our collective. And what I was saying is, so we have the IG lives, and we will be unraveling more and more the subscriptions that we're going to be having and our Boys to Men group. And just look out for some really engaging conversations in these IG lives that are going to kind of have, the most important thing is we are going to start creating the elephant room offline. I know that's like a throwback, not that far back.
That's OG stuff, man.
Well,
Elephant Room's OG.
Yes, everybody will be happy to know that we are going to bring back the elephant room, but we will do it in a way that includes so many more voices. We are going to have a lot of important conversations because, community health is also very important. Political knowledge, awareness, liberation in what's happening in our world is also a part of our freedoms. And when our civil rights are being infringed upon, let's have a conversation about it. There's so many different aspects of self-discovery and communal discovery. And we're just excited to bring this throughout December for our more official launch coming early next year. So we're very excited for everything that's coming. And we thank you so much for giving us this platform. Big up to Mark Hightower. We love you too.
All right. Well, folks, that's it. Bwell is on fire and the contact information is there. I just like to speak it to them, speak strength, knowledge, guidance, and grace in your journeys, not only individually but as a collective, but with all the individuals you're serving. Very, very important. We're in a very critical time in the walk of Black people. Critical time, because many of us in 2020, we wish 2020 ended 3 months ago.
Oh, it's been such a gift, though. Yes.
So I receive it that we're going to speak truth to power to each one of these individuals and the one that isn't here in their walk, because it's not an easy walk. But sometimes in order to get through, you got to go through.
Yes.
Right. So it's very, very important. And LA mentioned a very important word, process.
Yes.
In business and in our lives, a lot of times when things fall down because there's no process.
Exactly.
So this is what Bwell is doing. They're setting a process for success and sustainability and thriving. Yeah. Man, LA, you may need to just coin that out as a tagline. So that is it for the Bwell posse. They will be back because they dropped so many knowledge bombs that they can't do everything on their IG lives. They got to do something here too. You know, I can't let them get away with everything. So it's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations. I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 podcasts or internet news and 2018 Innovation Award given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I'm also the host of monthly conversations for dads and fathers that are co-sponsored by Dad Central and Dove Men Care. If you want to check out me, the best place, if you're watching live on the replay, you see my website address on the screen, or you can just, if you're listening, the drvibeshow.com. I would like to thank Stacy, Yvette, Mark, who are watching this live, and others to help make it an epic conversation. Because remember, this is the place for epic conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations. As always, I close out my conversations with this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Then block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider, and 2 other things. If you can, don't waste this crisis. And especially with the stuff that all of us are doing live here right now, remember to give yourself grace. And finally, thanks to BIA Media for our excellent production job. God bless. Peace be well. Keep the faith. Walk good and never settle. Good night, everybody.